Hi. This is good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dumb Stuff Podcast.
Presume that the podcast just started and the listeners are wondering what this podcast is about. What do you tell them?
We're a group of guys. This week we are a much smaller group of guys, 3/5 the normal size, who got kind of tired of being stuck at home during this global pandemic. We decided, hey, let's get together remotely and catch up on everything that's happened in our lives since we left high school in a small Midwestern town. So here we are learning new things about one another every week.
We learn so much about each other. This is more fun than high school.
We're short a few folks today, but we're still going to make a valiant attempt at giving you quality content.
My name is Joe, and although not the founder of the group, I like to consider myself to be the muse that has inspired Kurt.
My name is Mick, and I just kind of exist. It's my thing just to exist and be that guy on the side.
Don't sell yourself short, man.
And then Kurt just must have had enough. He left. He walked right out the door.
Well, that's all right. We never needed him anyway.
So do you follow any of the cryptocurrency stuff?
I keep scrolling past headlines that there's a new cryptocurrency with a dog face on it.
Yeah, the Dogecoin. It's not really new. It's been around for several years, and it took me a long time to figure out how to buy it, but I didn't buy it until recently. It was less than a penny. It's like 0.002, and right now it's at 80 cents, which is pretty high for it. They're trying to get it to go to $1. It probably won't, but it's interesting. If a guy would have put a couple $100 in there when it was down to 0.002,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a nice little win.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of headlines last week that a bunch of geeky Reddit users did something to manipulate the market and get it to go up, but I didn't read the articles. Most of that stuff goes over my head anyway. I don't really understand financial stuff.
Well, I don't. I just kind of act like I do. It got up to
You better.
Yeah, and people were made a killing.
But if they're not in it for the long haul, if they just do something to manipulate the market and then get out in the long run, that doesn't do any good, does it?
Right. It'll drop back down to nothing.
And it just drops down, and then so a few people get rich, but the overall long-term general public don't gain anything from it.
Right. So I bought a little bit. I bought about, I guess it's been about 6 or 7 months. I bought, I guess it was $45 or $40 of Bitcoin, which is like a really small amount. And it's up to 150 now, just because of the price. Bitcoin it's at $46,000 a coin right now. And, when this first started out, people were buying pizzas for 20 Bitcoin. That's the value of it way back when.
I did my taxes this weekend, and they specifically ask you about money made on cryptocurrency.
Really?
And I'm like, who would ever admit that? Part of the point of cryptocurrency is to avoid paying taxes.
Well, nowadays you have to put your social in to get it. And,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's legitimatized. That's not a word, is it? It's like a legit thing now. When it started out, it was like on the dark web, and it was just for people to be sneaky. But it's become a legit.
Yes, it's for real.
So yeah, everybody who's like doing it legitimately needs to report it to the government.
But what if you're using it to commit crimes?
Then you would buy it off the dark web, and you wouldn't be giving your social security number to the seller.
So these places like Robinhood and all those things that you trade at, they're the reporting end of it. They follow the transaction. They do that part of it. So the person you're selling to doesn't even know your name. It's just.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
yeah, so they would do the reporting for your taxes. Or
So Mick, when you've used your cryptocurrency to, for example, hire a hitman, are you paying taxes on that?
Or
I
did you?
didn't have enough for a hitman. I had enough for a kiss man, for some man to go up and kiss somebody. That's all. For.
A kiss man.
So yeah, but it's interesting right
I-
now. Bitcoin has just absolutely exploded at $46,000 a coin. In the beginning of the year, it's at 8,000.
Well, a couple years ago, it exploded. I remember seeing a lot of it in the news,
And then sometimes it plummets.
and
Yes.
then it plummeted.
I mean,
So
it's really volatile.
it is.
I can't handle volatile. I need conservative.
Yeah. My only real investments are, for retirement, and so it's in a pretty conservative place. But I think when I was like fresh out of college, some college buddies and I did the thing where you pretend to invest and you're not actually investing real money. I don't
Yeah.
know if these websites are still a thing. They're websites where you can create an account and then it gives you pretend money, and then you pretend to invest it, and then it tells you how well or how poorly you did. It's kind of like fantasy football. It's fantasy investing. And I didn't do very good, and so I realized that I probably shouldn't do it for reals.
So that's part of it though. It is not a short-term deal. It's a long-term commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's the
that
great
would
thing
be better
about.
for me. I don't like to be in, selling and buying. I just want to invest long term and know, or at least hope, that in the end
Right.
I'll come out ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Shane just stopped at a hotel. He's been in the car this whole time, which means he's probably not going to make it.
I thought he was flying back.
He said he was flying back. He's a liar. He's a big fat liar.
Yeah, he is.
He changed his mind, I guess. Where is he? He's probably in Dallas.
Mick's going to get a knock on the door in the middle of our meeting.
Fine. That'd be funny.
It would. I already found, a dog pee spot on the tile that we didn't realize was there. It was kind of in an area that we don't, walk on very often, if
You
ever.
Sure, it was the dog.
I didn't know you had a dog. Honestly, I didn't. I've never seen your dog. But anyway.
Really? Never?
Is it named Saturn or Pluto or Venus?
Anus.
Uranus? That's a funny story.
Oh no.
So when I was teaching 6th grade science. It's the first year, and we were on the planets, of course. And there's a girl in one of the classes, and she got frustrated real easy, and so the kids would kind of pick on her, And even though if they knew she was right, they would say, "No, that's not right." And so they got to arguing, but she comes up to me and goes, "You got to settle this." And she's dead serious. She's all mad, and she goes, "Does your anus have rings around it?"
Hey, Kurt's gonna have fun editing this podcast.
Lady.
Mick, I
Yeah.
have a fond memory of you in biology class.
What
We
I
had a
missed-
student teacher, and you were supposed to read out loud for the class, and you got to the word organism,
Yes.
and you said orgasm. And then you told us, you're like, I kept saying to myself, don't say orgasm, don't say orgasm, don't say orgasm. And then you said it.
Now, was it the student teacher that made him nervous? Was it a cute girl, the student teacher?
No, it's a guy. It was a guy.
Was it a cute guy, Mick? Wow. Oh my gosh, we have a new.
Seriously, this meeting is almost over.
Yeah. Well, way to
Did
go.
we? Shane has finally joined us this week.
I was driving, and then we went to eat. I should think I get something to eat.
We
sat
thought
in a
we're
hotel.
confused. We thought you were flying back from Vegas.
Yeah.
Everything changed.
Oh,
Are you okay?
So, yeah, tired. My eyes are probably bloodshot. Man, I didn't sleep much in Vegas.
so Shane, how much money did you lose in Vegas?
If I told you less than 5,000, that'd be good enough.
Less than 5,000, but you came out not ahead.
Oh no, I lost 4,200. But everything was free. My room was free. All the meals
Why
were
was
free.
everything
Yeah, but you wouldn't have
free?
spent 4,200 on a room and
No, I know. That's why they give you that stuff free.
Why was it all free? Because they know
Because
you're
if
going to
you-
blow money in
Yeah,
the
so they want me to come back.
casino? They do that for everybody?
You spend enough money. If you only spend $100, I won't.
Well, how do they know how much money you spent?
You know, player's card. You keep track of it.
So when you check into your hotel, you don't know it's going to be free.
No,
How much was it supposed to be on the
probably
books?
100 something a night.
That's not bad.
Then we went to a steak. We went to Tony Romo's Steakhouse. Had steak and lobster. It was free.
Wait, at what point after when you check into your hotel, you don't know it's free. Then you go and you go to dinner. You don't know that that's going to be free. They don't start giving you free stuff until after you lose a bunch of money, right?
Correct.
So at what point, how many days were you there before you started getting free stuff?
Probably about an hour.
so
So you've got a player's club card. And
Slot
you put it in the
machines?
machine. Yeah. And I think to be honest, the first 2 or 3 machines I hit for $700 or $800. I was up.
Huh.
Tom, my friend here, hit it for 1,800 Friday night.
Jeez.
so
But
so
by the
if you-
time the week was over, he was back down to
so you
Yeah.
also
Negative.
get comped if you're making money, right? Because then
Yeah.
they want you to stay so you'll lose it.
Yeah.
wait, you get comped either way?
Yeah.
They want to keep you there.
Oh.
It's a
Either
good
keep you
system,
there to keep
I've-
making more money or keep you there to make up for what
I've-
you've lost.
Okay. So let me
I don't know.
explain
I don't
to
know
you,
how
Kurt.
this works. I've never
I-
been there, and
I walk in the casino, I put $100 in the machine, and I put my card in there so I know who's playing it, and I win $1,000.
Mhm,
And they come over and they say, "Hey, let me give you a free meal and a T-shirt."
nice.
And if they didn't, you might say, "Well, I'm gonna take $1,000 and go to this other casino because now I got more money."
Oh,
And
then
that's
you're
a
gonna
better
leave.
casino.
Okay.
So they take care of you to say, "Hey, stay here, play." The longer
here.
you're there, the more
Okay.
money you're going to lose.
So they don't want you going to other other hotels.
Yeah.
They want you to stay there and lose your money there.
My brother hardly ever gets anything comped. I bet he doesn't lose more than 300 in a weekend.
Because he's not playing that
Gambling enough.
much. He's not.
No, he
gambling
doesn't like to gamble. He's more of a people watcher. He likes to walk around and watch everybody and check
Yeah.
out the stuff.
enough. Yeah.
He took my sister's car and drove around through the subdivisions and looked for houses.
Interesting.
That's the stuff he does. So
Interesting.
me and Tom drank and gambled. There was one Saturday night he went to bed about midnight, and I went down to gamble. I bet I lost $1,000 that night.
Was all the alcohol comped too?
Yeah, alcohol's always comped to anybody. They want you to be drunk and
Not
play.
to me.
I didn't know that.
I made 10 bets on the Super Bowl, 10 prop bets, which are weird bets, not like who's going to win. I bet who's going to have a 10-yard run, how
Yeah.
many touchdowns were going to be scored. So I made 10 bets and I won 8 of them. I made $10
That's
bets.
insane given the way that game went.
The 2 bets I lost was I bet there would have been a 2-point conversion, and I bet the score would have been tied after 0-0. That's my 2 prop bets I lost.
Hmm.
I bet that like Rob Gronkowski would have over 32 yards. He did. I bet that the Chiefs running back would have a run more than 11 yards. I bet that there would be less than 7 touchdowns in the game total. I bet that the first play of the game was going to be a pass play, and I bet it was going to be completed. Just stupid
Wow.
things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But they like $10 bet only paid like $19.
Yeah.
Some of them only paid $9. So it's not like I won a bunch.
Yeah. Those are fun little bets.
Yep.
Oh.
So we're about
So-
ready to go to bed. We're tired.
Yeah, you look shot, man.
Shane,
Yeah.
you're in California right now?
Yes.
It's only 6:53, dude. You're on the
I know,
West
and I-
Coast. Welcome
No,
to
no.
daytime, boy.
But you haven't slept all week. Or all weekend.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah,
been in
we-
Vegas.
Yeah.
Are all the casinos filled with smoke, or are there certain areas you can go?
You can't smoke at the table games, but you can smoke in the casino at the slot machines and in the hallways. And yeah,
So
which
I
is
would be
crazy.
terribly uncomfortable there.
You remember
I
that
wouldn't
on
be
the
able to
ship?
stand it.
On both the cruise ships.
You couldn't go near the casino on the cruise ship.
yeah, because it's just smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year, my wife and I went to see Jerry Seinfeld on stage, and it was like in a casino, in the
Mhm.
arena
Yeah.
or whatever. And so we had to walk through the casino to get to the arena where the show was. And it was miserable just walking through just for 10 minutes. I can't imagine, like, I wouldn't be able to handle it.
You would never make it as a hospice social worker. Going into some of the houses that I have to go into. Oh,
Disgusting.
especially the hoarding houses. But the smoking is just common. I mean, not everyone smokes, but
Hmm.
some of them that do, it's like a casino.
Did
Okay,
you
Shane,
say
go ahead.
did you say hoarding houses?
Hoarding,
Yeah.
HOARDING, like with hoarders.
Wow. You get to
Oh.
witness
Yeah,
that,
I
huh?
can imagine. I imagine Joe sees a lot of houses like that.
Not as many as you would think, but yeah, I've seen my share. So, hey, Shane.
Yeah.
If you could figure out a way we could get to some casinos without smoke, it would be really cool for us to all meet there next year or something.
Okay.
That would be a blast.
El Cortez, they don't smoke in there.
They don't breathe in there.
Where'd Kurt run off to?
You offended him with your gambling stories.
Sorry, I couldn't get on earlier, guys, but I will next week. I'll be home in plenty of time. I get home Thursday.
See you, Shane.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So literally while we were talking, I checked our podcast email, talkaboutdumbstuff@gmail.com.
Mhm.
We have another listener email.
Oh,
yeah?
I cannot wait.
Guess who it's from, Joe?
Ooh,
Is it-
It's from your better looking twin brother.
Rich.
Rich emailed us.
I like Rich.
Yeah, I've met Rich. I like him too. Was he not your best man?
He was my best man.
Yeah, that's what
He's
I
a
thought we were
good
talking about.
man.
He emailed us 8 hours ago. So he
Hey.
he emailed us this afternoon.
He had a birthday a few days after mine. Happy birthday,
Oh,
Rich.
can we sing to him?
And to
That
you.
went over so well when we sang on their
We should.
podcast a couple weeks ago.
We should.
Rich says, "Hi, Kurt and the guys." I feel really special by that
He
greeting.
always liked
Hi,
you
Kurt
better.
and the guy.
He always liked you better.
Maybe I should have let him be my best man.
You wouldn't have had frozen underwear.
I'd be better off, right? He says, long time listener, first time emailer.
Boom.
LOL. He gets right into it. As far as your college discussion, I believe anyone who would like to go should have the opportunity to go to college. However, not everyone probably should go. To Sally's email, trade schools are a good option in much needed professions. But one thing I thought was not mentioned was the option of junior college. That is a great point because I went to junior college and
Yes, you
I'm
did.
super glad that I did. Shane
And so did
went to
Shane.
junior college. We went together. We carpooled. We're junior college buddies, actually, Shane and I. So we didn't mention the option of junior college, he says. This would be a good choice, especially if your child does not know what he or she wants to do. That was the case for me. I didn't know. I knew engineer was my thing, but there are so many different types of engineers, mechanical, electrical, yada, yada, yada.
Aerospace.
Aerospace,
Train.
rocket engineer, train engineer.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
think-
partly why I went to junior college.
My daughter went to junior college and it saved us a ton of money.
If I can ask, did we talk about my daughter doing running start?
Taking college classes in high school.
Yeah.
I don't know if it made it into the podcast,
Well-
but I do know we talked about it.
It's
Yeah.
so it's interesting. Just this morning, I called her in downstairs. I said, we need to go tour some campuses, some college campuses, getting ready for college, even though she's doing her junior year. I say, so
That's
she's
when to
doing
do
a
it.
combination of junior year and she's doing running start. So her entire junior and senior year of high school will be done at a local college.
Mhm.
So she gets high school credit for graduation and college credit. The advantage is we're going to save 2 years worth of college because we only have to pay her high school tuition.
Yeah.
But the drawback is she's going to graduate from high school with an associate's degree.
How is
which
that a
means
drawback?
When she's 18, she enters presumably enters a university, she's going to have to declare a major. So like you said, you went to junior
Oh,
college, you took
that's the
2 years to
drawback.
figure out what you wanted to do. She's got to know when she
Yeah.
gets into college
Hmm.
there's no junior college for her. I mean,
Nope.
she's already got a
She's
associate's degree.
Yep, she done.
Yeah.
She done did it.
So it saves us money, but it's kind of putting the pressure on her to know, okay, what are you going to want to do?
We have the same program in Florida, but it's not called Running Start. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. But my fear of pushing my kids to do all those college courses in high school and get the college credit was kind of pushing them to mature faster than they actually were. And so that's why I resisted that.
Well, this particular daughter that I'm referring to, I'm not as concerned about that. I mean, it is a concern. It would always be a concern.
Do you think your other daughter will do it? Or are you not going to do that?
Well, we didn't push my older daughter to do it.
Okay. It was her decision.
We encouraged her to consider it.
Right.
But if she had said no, she didn't want to,
you would have been okay with that?
Fine.
Are you going to encourage your other daughter to do it?
I'm going to encourage her to consider it.
Okay.
I mean, on one hand, it's schools out. I'm sure everywhere, but they're just so expensive now. State schools are so expensive.
Yeah.
So we're going to, like I said, we just scheduled today some tours of couple different campuses this summer where she can go and talk to the people in these departments.
Yeah, summer at the latest. I mean, you could start touring campuses right now in the spring, because some colleges are harder to tour in the summer because the students are gone.
Right.
We did most of our touring in the spring, and then we missed one. So we did one in the summer, and it was a little weird because there are no students there. But it was good because it was kind of like a private tour, versus when the ones that we did in the spring were more like an open house, and there were like hundreds and hundreds of people touring all like at once.
We're not going to get that. No matter if it's in the Pacific Northwest, if it's in Washington State or anything like that, students are going to college, but at least half their classes, if not more, are being done online.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't think there's a lot of crowded campuses.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, I mean, granted, it's going to be more crowded than in the summer. I agree, but it's not like you can.
But they were limited in what they could show us in the summer because, buildings were buildings were closed and under renovation and stuff like that. It was definitely a better experience while school was open during the spring term. And then by the time you get to the fall, if you put it off that late, it might be either hard to get into because all the other people who put it off are getting all the slots, or it's time to apply.
Yeah, it is time to apply.
In the fall, like August is when you start applying. So you kind of have to have your tours done when you start applying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll
do it.
My oldest applied as soon as the fall term started, and then
he's a senior, right?
Yeah. But there are some schools that give you benefits for applying early, for being like in the very first group that apply. We literally missed out on some really sweet scholarship opportunities by not being in the first wave for applying and accepting. We waited to accept. We missed a first wave acceptance deadline, which would have put him into like a full ride scholarship at his favorite school. There are some opportunities that you can miss by waiting.
Okay.
Is my point.
I'll talk to my family after we're done in the meeting, because that might influence when we tour and where we tour.
You find a way through it one way or another. And my daughter got through without any debt. So that's
awesome.
My son, on the other hand, probably going to be a different story. It's going to be another 2 years of 10 to 12 grand in tuition fees, and then room and board.
Yeah, it's just more than that out here.
Yeah,
wow.
It's not terrible. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's not terrible. It's just you gotta buckle up and do what you got to do, and a student loan is not a bad thing.
Yeah. So, is there more in the email, or is there more that we wanted to?
So junior college would be a good choice, especially if your child doesn't know what he or she wants to do. It gives them time to figure it out without costing an arm and a leg. And when they do figure things out, they can possibly go to college of their choice or one better suited for their major. That's really good advice. Junior colleges are cheap, but living at home is cheap. So, I mean, the combination of those two cheapnesses make it super duper cheap to go to junior college.
I would just like to put a pause in this listener's email to say I just got a text from the listener that's emailing us.
Does he want to interject a comment in the middle of his
Rich,
podcast?
you just texted me as we're doing this podcast.
Did his spidey sense go off and say, they're talking about me, I should text Joe and get another word in? He does point out that the drawback to junior college is missing out some of those early college experiences. So everything's a trade-off. I
That's true. I
agree
mean,
that when I spent 2 years away from home in a full-blown college experience, I didn't get the full experience as opposed to my friends who went away for
Yeah.
all 4 of those years.
well, that's again, this listener that we are listening to right now, he and I met our freshman year
Yeah.
of college. And,
And
you
you've
know,
been lifelong friends.
yeah, unlike the two of you guys.
He says, that was just my 2 cents. Keep up the good work and bantering, fellas. Do we do good banter? Is that why he listens to
Well,
our good banter? He's frustrated. He says, when are you guys ever going to get to the Mandalorian, and when will the YouTube version of the podcast be available to see facial expressions? I'm kind of torn on the YouTube idea because I'm not sure everyone wants to put their like identities out there. That's why I only use first names, and I never, allow spouses' names or towns that we live in to be broadcast. So putting our faces out there kind of blows our privacy out the window. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I don't need to be seen.
Joe is so concerned about his own privacy that he used to wear a mask in
And-
this meeting.
Yes, he did.
Literally in this meeting, in our weekly high school friend Zoom meeting, he used to wear a Kurt mask.
And for the first several weeks that Frank was in our meeting, he didn't know what I looked like because he hadn't seen me in so many years.
Yeah, then when you finally took the mask off, he was like, "Oh, you got a haircut." And oh, you've got facial hair. You've got a goatee.
That was funny. By the way, before we go any further, did you finish the letter?
Yeah.
The listener
Well,
email?
he ended with the YouTube version.
Okay.
And then he said he signed it, Joe's better looking twin brother.
Yep, it's true. It is true.
But Mick probably doesn't get the joke. Rich is of Asian heritage.
He's Japanese American.
So it's funny
Yeah.
that he calls himself Joe's twin brother. Continue,
What's
Joe.
even funnier is that I call him my twin brother.
Because Joe is for the listeners who've never seen a picture of Joe is of Viking heritage, which is the opposite of Asian heritage. Yes, Joe has a question.
I just discovered something incredible.
What?
If I click on my window or your window, I can change places with other people's windows.
Well, I didn't realize you could do that. That's new.
That is so
What are you doing?
cool.
Okay, I'm always going to put myself first from now on.
I'm on an iPad, so I gotta poke you.
Ow. I think we're done.
Yes.
So-
I think
Yeah,
we
I
are.
think so.
It was fun.
All right, guys.
See you guys next time.
Take
Have
it
a great
easy.
evening.
Later.
You too.
Later, alligator. After a while, crocodile.